ஜவஹர்லால் நேரு பல்கலைக்கழக சிறப்புநிலை தமிழ் துறை ஒருங்கிணைக்கும் அறியப்படாத சோழர் கால கோயில்கள் எனும் தலைப்பில் நடைபெற இருக்கும் சிறப்பு சொற்பொழிவுக்கு வருகை புரிந்துள்ள அனைவரையும் வருக வருக என வரவேற்கிறோம். வரவேற்புரை வழங்க தமிழ்துறை முனைவர் பட்ட ஆய்வாளர் திரு கு. கமலக்கண்ணன் அவர்களை அன்புடன் அழைக்கிறோம்.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். இன்றைய நிகழ்வில் அறியப்படாத சோழர் கால கோயில்கள் இன்னும் unknown temples of Chola culture. This is going to be a lecture. Lecture will be delivered by Mr. Gurumurthy sir. On behalf of Special Center for Tamil Studies, I welcome you all. Before starting this function, I would like to mention that our Honorable Vice Chancellor is supposed to present in this session, but due to her unexpected academic duties, she couldn't participate with us today. First of all, I would like to welcome our chief guest, Mr. S. Gurumurthy sir. Gurumurthy sir is basically from Coimbatore, western part of Tamil Nadu. Since his childhood, he is very much interested in paintings and drawings, especially of Tamil temple architecture and sculptures. So, based on this interest, after going to college, I developed as a scholar on making researches on temple culture. Then this keen interest is motivated by the great scholar Nagasamy sir. He is an epigraphist. So based on this support and this guidance, he made himself a specialist in this area. Then he has participated in so many sessions and he has organized many programs. Now he is willing to give a lecture with us today. So now I welcome Mr. S. Gurumurthy sir to give a lecture titled Unknown Temples of the Cholas. Thank you. I welcome all the faculties of our Tamil department, Professor Aravindan and Professor Chandrasekharan, and all the other faculties, especially from Dr. Rajaram sir from Delhi University, and other department faculties, all the students. I welcome you all. Now I welcome our chief guest to deliver his address. Thank you.
வரவேற்புரையாற்றிய கமலக்கண்ணன் அவர்களுக்கு நன்றி. அடுத்ததாக நிகழ்வில் இருக்கவங்க ஒவ்வொருத்தரும் தங்களை அறிமுகம் செய்யுமாறு இருக்கிறது.
Hello sir, this is Vignesh from Tamil PhD school.
சத்தமா பேசுவீங்களா? சத்தமா
மணிகண்டன் முனையப்பட்ட ஆய்வாளர். பொருளதிகார நோக்கி பெரிய புராணமும் பசவ புராணமும் ஒப்பாரிக்கிற தலைப்பில் ஆய்வு செய்து கொண்டு வருகிறேன்.
Hello sir, I am Kamalakannan, pursuing PhD in Special Center for Tamil Studies. My research studies on Tamil Sanskrit women poems. Thank you.
Good evening all. I am Ragalan, first year PhD scholar. Now I am starting for the PhD first year. I am not choosing any field in this research field.
வணக்கம் சார், என்னோட பேர் பூங்குழலி. நான் தமிழ் மலையாளம் ஆக்கப்பயிர்கள் அப்படின்னு இலக்கண ஆய்வு செஞ்சுருக்கேன். PhD ஸ்காலர்.
இப்போ நான் ஏன் இப்போதான் முதலாம் ஆண்டு சேர்ந்து PhD பண்ணுறேன்.
Hello sir, this is Shivangi and I am from Center of Historical Studies and I am pursuing my MA.
Hello sir, I am Prabhu, third year PhD.
Tamil Varadan, doing PhD in Special Center for Tamil Studies. My area of research is Tamil and Greek comparative study.
Good afternoon everyone. I am Dr. Radha Gayatri. I am from Center for Historical Studies. I am actually a research officer there in Educational Record Research Unit. And of course, temples of South and North has been my fascination, so I am looking forward to a very interesting talk today. Thank you.
Chandrasekharan, Tamil Academy of Special Center for Tamil Studies.
And everyone, good afternoon. I am Nadu from Center for Historical Studies. I am doing
வணக்கம் தாமோதரன் அரவிந்தன் என்ன பண்ணுறது அது வந்து டாபிக் வந்து மனைவி சிக்கல் தகுந்த மனைவிகளையும் அசோகத்தை சொல்கிறேன்.
Hi sir, I am Gurumurthy. I am pursuing PhD in Special Center for Tamil Studies. My research area is Tamil and Greek comparative. நன்றி. அடுத்ததாக சொற்பொழிவாளருக்கு சிறப்பு செய்தல். சொற்பொழிவாளருக்கு நினைவு பரிசு வழங்க தமிழ்துறை முனைவர் பட்ட ஆய்வாளர் திருமதி பூங்குழலி அவர்களை அழைக்கிறோம். நன்றி. அடுத்ததாக சொற்பொழிவாளரை பற்றிய ஒரு சிறு அறிமுகம். குருமூர்த்தி ஐயா இவர் கோயம்புத்தூரில் பிறந்தவர். தனது பள்ளி படிப்பை மணி உயர்நிலைப் பள்ளியில் பயின்றார். பிஎஸ்டி கலை மற்றும் அறிவியல் கல்லூரியில் வர்த்தகத்தில் பட்டம் பெற்றார். தற்போது கோயம்புத்தூரில் உள்ள ரேபிட் கியூ சிஸ்டம் பிரைவேட் லிமிடெட் நிறுவனத்தில் நிர்வாக இயக்குநராக பணியாற்றுகிறார். சிறுவயதிலிருந்தே ஓவியத்தில் மிகுந்த ஆர்வம் கொண்ட இவர் கோயில்கள் மற்றும் சிற்பங்களின் கட்டடக்கலை அழகு குறித்து ஓவியங்கள் வரைந்துள்ளார். தற்போது நாயக்கர் கால கோயில்களில் உள்ள சுவர் ஓவியங்களை கேன்வாஸ் பலகைகளில் வரைந்து கொண்டுள்ளார். 1989ஆம் ஆண்டு ரோட்டரி கிளப்பில் சேர்ந்தார். அந்நிறுவனத்தின் தலைவராகவும் பணியாற்றியுள்ளார். பேரூரில் உள்ள பட்டீஸ்வரர் கோயிலில் கடந்த 26 ஆண்டுகளாக நடைபெறும் நடன விழாவின் தலைவராக இருந்து வருகிறார். புத்தகங்கள் வாயிலாகவும் அந்தந்த இடங்களுக்கு சென்றும் உள்ளூர் மக்களுடன் கலந்துரையாடுவதன் மூலமாகவும் நமது கோயில்களின் பாரம்பரியம் குறித்து அறிந்து கொண்ட இவர் டாக்டர் பத்மபூஷன் ஆர் நாகசுவாமி அவர்களின் நெறியாளுகையில் சிற்பங்கள் மற்றும் கோயில் கட்டமைப்புகளின் தனித்துவமான அம்சங்களை எவ்வாறு மதிப்பிடுவது, ஒப்பிடுவது மற்றும் எவ்வகையில் அதன் சூழலை உணர்வது என்பதை கற்றுக்கொண்டார். சோழர்கள் மற்றும் பல்லவர்கள், சாளுக்கியர்கள் மற்றும் ராஷ்டிரகூடர்களின் பாரம்பரியம் குறித்து 2 கருத்தரங்குகளை வெற்றிகரமாக நடத்தியுள்ளார். இக்கருத்தரங்குகளில் முன்னணி அறிஞர்கள் உரையாற்றியது குறிப்பிடத்தக்கதாகும். பாரம்பரியம் குறித்த கட்டுரைகளை பல கருத்தரங்குகளில் வழங்கியுள்ளார். ஒவ்வொரு ஆண்டும் குழு உறுப்பினர்களுக்காக இந்தியாவின் பாரம்பரிய இடங்களுக்கு சுற்றுப்பயணத்தை நடத்தி வருகிறார். புகைப்படம் எடுப்பதில் மிகுந்த ஆர்வம் கொண்ட இவர் மேலும் பல முன்னணி எழுத்தாளர்களுக்கு அப்புகைப்படங்களையும் வழங்கியுள்ளார். கோயில் மற்றும் கட்டிடக்கலை குறித்து புகைப்படம் எடுப்பதில் சிறப்பு வாய்ந்தவர். தென்னிந்திய வெண்கலப்படங்களில் சில குறிப்பிடத்தக்க வேலைகளை செய்துள்ளார். இந்திய பாரம்பரியம் மற்றும் கலாச்சாரத்தின் மீதான பேரார்வம் இவரை வெளிநாடுகளுக்கு சென்று பல பாரம்பரிய இடங்களை பார்வையிடவும் கலை மற்றும் கலாச்சாரம் பற்றிய விரிவான ஆய்வுகளை மேற்கொள்ளவும் தூண்டியிருக்கிறது. கோயம்புத்தூரில் உள்ள ரோட்டரி குழுவின் கீழ் பாரம்பரிய குழு ஒன்றை தொடங்கியுள்ளார். தொற்றுநோய் காலத்தின் போது குழுவிற்கு விரிவுரைகளை அளித்து வந்தவர் இவர். அதை வலையொலியில் பதிவேற்றப்பட்டும் நல்ல வரவேற்பை பெற்றது. வாசிப்பு, வாகனம் ஓட்டுதல், புகைப்படம் எடுத்தல் மற்றும் பயணம் ஆகியவை இவரது முக்கிய பொழுதுபோக்குகள். கல்வி நிறுவனங்கள் மற்றும் பொது நிறுவனங்களில் நமது கலாச்சாரம் மற்றும் பாரம்பரியத்தின் மகத்துவம் குறித்து சிறப்பு விருந்தினராக பல விரிவுரைகளை வழங்கியுள்ளார். இத்தகைய சிறப்பு பொருந்திய திரு குருமூர்த்தி ஐயா அவர்களை அறியப்படாத சோழர்கால கோயில்கள் என்னும் தலைப்பில் உரையாற்ற வருமாறு அழைக்கிறோம்.
Warm good afternoon and also good evening to you all of you. Some time back I received a call from Professor Arvindan asking me to come and talk here. I was surprised and very much delighted because university like JNU normally expects a great academician and scholar to be here. I am not an academician or a scholar. I am a person who really loves our heritage, and that's what they brought me here. And I should really thank Professor Arvindan for inviting me and instead of much for me to have introduced us to this thing. And I thank all of you here. And with this note of thank, let's go into the topic of what I wanted to talk.
So, ஒரு நிமிடம் இது மட்டும் பார்த்துக்கோங்க. ஒரு
When the topic came to me to talk about Chola temples, I chose this topic of unknown temples of Cholas. Because Cholas have built so many temples all over this country, and the great temples of Cholas are well known to people in Tamil Nadu and elsewhere also. So I chose this topic of unknown temples of the Cholas as today's topic. As you all know, Cholas were the mightiest power in the Tamil country for almost 450 years, starting from 9th century to 13th century. They were the mightiest power ruling Tamil Nadu. The entire southern part of India and some parts of Maharashtra, Karnataka, all those things were also under their control, and they were the mightiest power. Not only that, they had their very big sea, naval expeditions and all things were being taken up by them, and they were very great powers. And that's Cholas. And they are also known as the great temple builders. You know, their temples, whatever they have built almost about 25 to 30,000 temples all over the Tamil country and the south of India. And they were great builders. Magnificent temples, small architectural, beautiful temples, they have built it. You all know about great Rajaraja Chola. The great Rajaraja Chola who built the beautiful temple of Brandishwara at Tanjavur. When Rajaraja built this particular temple at Tanjavur, it was known by his name as Rajarajeshwaram, and it was not Brandishwara temple. He wanted to do something magnificent and big to show that he was a great person. So he built this beautiful edifice completely with granite stones. And mind you, Tanjavur is a place where you do not have any granite formation within the radius of about 70 to 80 kilometers from that area. There's absolutely no granite formation. And this entire granites had to be quarried from elsewhere and brought into Tanjavur and then built this temple. And this beautiful edifice of Rajarajeshwaram was built in a span of 10 years using 130,000 metric tons of stones, which was an impossible task that he had accomplished. And his son was no less than that. When Rajaraja's capital was Tanjavur, this man wanted to go on for expeditions all over the country. He wanted to rule the entire Indian subcontinent. So he had major plans to go in for a lot of invasions. So Tanjavur was not a suitable place. So he shifted his capital to Gangaikonda. Not only shifted his capital to Gangaikonda, he also built a beautiful edifice of Gangaikonda in this particular temple, in this city of Gangaikonda. It's a beautiful temple, very magnificent, huge, and architecturally wonderful. And the Cholas were, nevertheless, later Chola also, Rajaraja too, built a beautiful temple at Dharasuram. He built a wonderful temple in a scaled down version of these great temples. But everything in that was so artistically done and miniature in size. It was such a wonderful temple. No wonder all these three temples, the Brandishwara temple at Tanjavur, Gangaikonda and the Dharasuram, all the three are declared as the World Heritage Sites by UNESCO. So such is the greatness of these three great temples of Cholas. Now, do you mean to say all the Chola temples are so great, so big, so huge? and everything is so magnificent. No. They were all very, very small structures. Early Trungpa temples were very small structures like what you see here. It was so very small structures they built it, and those structures were also artistically and beautifully done. Now, the Cholas were known for renovating the brick temples into stone structural temples. You know, earlier temples were been existing as cave temples, and then brick temples came into existence. These brick temples are perishable nature, and those brick temples which are there in South Indian Tamil country dates back to 6th and 7th century, when the three great saints, Appar, Jnanasambandar and Sundaramurthy Nayanar, the three great saints, have sung wonderful devarams about the lords in this temple. All these temples were in brick and mortar. So they converted these brick temples into permanent structures of stone temples, and that's how many of the temples were built in the entire Kaveri basin by them. So most of these brick structures were completely built as stone structures by the great Cholas. And all these small temples, whatever they did, it was of exquisite beauty. It was a very small structure with just a small Garbhagraham at the bottom and a Vimanam on top. Such a small structure. But everything was so beautifully done, very artistically done. And the Chola Empire was started by the great King Vijayalaya Chola around 850 CE. He overthrew the Muttarayas, who were under the Pallavas, ruling this area of Tanjavur, and he captured thus Tanjavur and made his capital city, and he built a beautiful temple for the Devi called Nishupasudini. And then onwards, he started expanding his beautiful territories, and then he became one of the greatest kings there. This Vijayalaya Chola, when he conquered and overthrew the Muttarayas came under him, and they had built a temple on the slopes of rocky terrain called Nartamalai. In that they built a beautiful temple, and that temple they named it as Vijayalaya Cholishwaram after their king Vijayalaya. So this is the beautiful temple of Vijayalaya Cholishwaram that you see here on the beautiful slopes of the rocky terrain of Nartamalai, which is situated in Pudukkottai district, very close to Tiruchirappalli, about 35-40 kilometers from Tiruchirappalli it is there. Such a beautiful temple. This was the earliest starting phase of the Chola temple that you could see here in Nartamalai. And that's the beautiful temple of Nartamalai as you see from there. It's a small hill. You'll have to climb up and go there to see this beautiful temple. And this temple is just, the temple has got a Garbhagraham, a Vimanam on top of it. Apart from that, you find that there are small shrines all over the sides. These are all called the Parivara shrines. Normally 9 or 6 Parivara shrines were added in those days. And this one temple exists with these Parivara shrines. Some of them are totally damaged and some of them are there. But the images which were there worshipped inside is no more in existence now. This is a protected monument under the ASI now, and it's such a wonderful feeling for everybody to climb up the hill, go see this wonderful monument there. Vijayalaya Cholishwaram was such a beautiful thing. The entire Garbhagraham was in circular shape. The entire Garbhagraham and the Vimanam rose into a circular shape, and the Vimanam is also circular. But once you see the outer wall, it is square in shape. So the outer wall was built square, and there is a circumambulatory passage between the circular Garbhagraha and this passage of Vimana. So that's the beauty of this particular temple. It's a Dvitala Vimana. It's such a beautifully, completely built of stone structure, and it's an extended Mahamandapam is there, and that Mahamandapam on the opening of the Mahamandapam, you have 2 beautiful guardians, the Dwarapalas. This Dwarapala is something very, very important because this was the start of the Chola art which had come into existence. Earlier to that, if you ask me, there are Dwarapalas even in Pallavas and other people. But this stylish idiom that's been followed here is something very unique that Cholas came into existence with this type of style added to it in future. So this is such a beautiful Dwarapalas that you see there on either side of the Vijayalaya Cholishwaram. Now, Aditya Chola, the son of great Vijayalaya Chola, and his son, Aditya's son Parantaka I, they ruled together this Chola country for a long time. They expanded this Chola length and breadth of the Chola empire, and such a vast empire it became under them. And both were ruling simultaneously. There's always a clash between the timeline of Aditya and Parantaka, because almost father and son were ruling together. He was a co-regent and things like that. So all the temples that we see in the early era, we attributed as Aditya and Parantaka both put together. We say that. So they built many temples across on the either banks of the Kaveri, and all these temples that they built were very small in structure, with just one Garbhagriha, that's a square Garbhagriha, then a Dvitala or Ekatala Vimana on top of it, and with an extension of the Ardhamandapam and Mahamandapam. That's all. This was a simple and easy structure that they had built, all the great temples there. And all the Padal Petrosthalams, which I said earlier by the Devaram mover, were all from brick and mortar converted into granite structure by this Aditya and Parantaka. The temple were very simple, as I said earlier. It was a simple structure with the Garbhagriha, Vimana and the extended Mahamandapa. Now we come to some of the artistic temples that were created by Aditya and Parantaka. The first temple that you come across is called Tiruppayanam. This Tiruppayanam temple was built about 1300 years ago by Aditya. And this is about a few kilometers away from the famous city of, the famous town of Tiruvayar. So this is a very old temple of the 9th century, built by Aditya. And this is a Padal Petrasthalam, which was a sacred temple which was converted into a permanent structure as a stone structure. Now what you see here is a beautiful Vimana. That entire Vimana is so beautifully designed, which is an Ekadala Vimana. There is one floor, and then the neck portion comes. It's called the Griva. They call it Griva in the thing. And then the Stupi. That's the finale on top of it, which is in square shape. And above that goes the Shikara. The Shikara and the Stupi. The Shikara is in square shape here. Now, the Griva portion, the neck portion of this Vimana, is beautifully studded with a lot of wonderful sculptures. These sculptures are of amazing beauty, and you cannot see such sculptures anywhere in the Chola temples. That has got some uniqueness into this. Now what you see here is the Veenadhara Dakshinamurti, which is seen on the southern Griva of that. Look at that beautiful Veenadhara Dakshinamurti. How majestic he is, and look at his hairstyle. What a beautiful hairstyle that it's got. How wonderfully they've imagined and created this wonderful sculpture of Veenadhara Dakshinamurti, which is something amazing. And on the eastern side, you have Umalinganamurti. Shiva is just hugging around Uma, and that's Umalinganamurti, a very beautiful depiction of that. And one side you have Shiva, and another side you have the Ardhanarishwara. All these sculptures are something par excellence and amazingly beautiful sculptures. And this temple is 1300 years old. Unfortunately, it needs a lot of attention from everybody. ASI has to take over and some sort of things have to happen. Otherwise, we will be losing one of the greatest treasures that we have. You can see the amount of vegetation that has come up on this thing. It's very painful to see such structures that being neglected by all. Now we come to another temple of Nitya and Parantaka built at a place called Nadu. Nadu is a very small village in the Musuri Taluk of Tishnapalli, close to Tishnapalli. This temple is named as Gorakhnatha temple. The people in Tamil Nadu cannot pronounce Gorakhnatha. So they have named this temple as Koranganatha, which means monkey god. So Shiva is named as monkey god. Koranganatha Swami temple they call it. And it's a beautiful temple built about 1300 years ago. Look at that beautiful, what do you call this? Makara Toranas. Every temple is divided into different koshtas, and the koshtas are always decorated with Makara Toranas. Look at that Makara Torana, which is something phenomenal artistic work which is being done there. Just see that. How amazingly they have it. The either side you have Makara. Makara, what is Makara? Makara is again a mythical animal, which is in the Hindu mythology, it has been brought in. Makara is nothing but a crocodile which has got a pig's body and a tail of a beautiful peacock. How can you imagine that? What sort of an imagination it is? A crocodile face with a pig's body with a tail of one peacock. Such decorative one. So, if you think if these three animals are put together, the combination that works in your mind will be absurd. But when you see this as a sculpture, it is marvelous. Just see that. That's Makara. So, the Makara opens up its mouth on either side, and then again the Makara on the top that also opens out. And through that, the warriors come riding on the yalis and horses and things like that. And there is a Torana hanging from there, and that is used as a swing by the Ganas. What a wonderful depiction of the such wonderful Makara Torana. Not only is Makara Toranas are so beautiful in this temple, you have the royal sculptures. The royal sculptures of the Cholas, we do not know whether they are the portrait sculptures of the Nitya Parantaka or somebody, they are recognized as royal sculptures. And these beautiful sculptures are there all over this temple. Wonderfully depicted royal sculptures. How elegant they look. Look at that elegant way in which it's not only man, it's also women. Royal women are also portrayed. So on either side of the god, they portray this. And this is one of the wonderful representations of the royal sculptures that you see in the Nadu. Now coming to this is the masterpiece of the southern wall, which depicts Dakshinamurti. What a wonderful depiction of Dakshinamurti that you see here. Amazingly beautiful, the sereneness, the everything that is connected with Dakshinamurti is beautifully portrayed as wonderful sculptural representation. Look at the Dakshinamurti. He's seated there under the banyan tree. You find the beautiful banyan tree there, and he's seated there. And on the either side of him, you have the rishis, the four rishis, Sanakat rishis, learning the lessons from him, where he imparts the knowledge through silence. And that place where he is doing it is something like a forest, where you have the wild animals, the lions there, and the deers. All of them are in tranquility. You can find the deers at the foot of the Dakshinamurti, the lions also sleeping by the side. So, what it does projects is that the tranquility that exists in the place of knowledge. Anybody who comes to seek knowledge, that place, if he comes with a true intention, it is tranquil and beautiful. for you to acquire the knowledge. That's been very beautifully depicted here. Look at the serenity in the face of Dakshinamurti. What a beautiful serenity. What a beautiful sculpture it is. How wonderfully you have depicted the serenity in Dakshinamurti's face. And on the next wall, you have the Brahma. The Brahma is broken and fallen down, and they have kept it below the foot level of Brahma is missing. Again, you have the two royal couple there and the Brahma in between. How beautifully it has been designed. To see that the coaster is wonderfully designed in Srinivas Kallu. The pilasters, between the coasters, you have the pillars. Those pillars are also intricately designed by them. You see this dancer and a drummer and the Bhutaganas there on top. How wonderfully, such a small one, they have done it. Look at that. The Yali varis. The Cholas have a specialty of the Yali varis. The Yalis is again a mythical animal which is there projected in every portion. And in the corners, the Yali comes jetting out like that, opening at the mouth, and one soldier emerging out of the open mouth of the Yali. It's something amazing, phenomenally wonderful depiction of these Yalis. The third temple that we come to the period of Aditya and Parantaka is now in Coimbatore city itself. It's called the Nageshwara Swami temple. Coimbatore is a well-known city and well connected, and there's a beautiful temple of Nageshwara Swami here. Don't compare or confuse it with Tirunageshwaram, that's entirely different. This is inside the city of Coimbatore. It's a beautiful stone structural temple built about 1300 years ago by Aditya Chola. Look at that wonderful Veena Dara Dakshinamurti depicted here. How wonderfully he is seated there in Utkutita Asana, playing the Veena. Majestically playing the Veena. Look at this grandeur in which he is seated there, and see how beautifully his hair has been presented, how wonderfully he is smiling and playing the Veena. Veena is the only instrument that can produce the sound of Vedas, it is said. That's why Saraswati is there with Veena. And in our Hindu mythology, we say that. It's not mythology, Hindu Puranas say that. So, that way, that Veena has got a great Vedic tradition. And Shiva has the player of this Veena, is seen beautifully here, seated in the Utkutita Asana. What a wonderful sculpture to have made 1300 years ago. Today you cannot even dream of that. And that's the rear wall where you have the north wall where you have Brahma. And fortunately or fortunately our people apply oil, everything. They light up the canvas, everything. The place is made a messy thing here that is unavoidable thing in places of Tamil Nadu. The walls of this temple, the Mahamandapa extensions, are uniquely different. You have the royal figures and you also have a place for a Buddhist saint. I don't know who is that Buddhist saint, but there is a Buddhist person there. Such wonderful wall decorations are there. You have the Chola princess. Look at that wonderful princess of Chola. She is there. This temple, this photograph I must have taken about 10-15 years back. Now with the name of renovation and restoration, they have done the sandblast. It's very unfortunate to see that this particular sculpture, one of the breasts is lost because of the sandblasting. Such a way they are maintaining it. I am very sorry and feel very pained to say that. Look at that. Again, a beautiful Chola princess. A wonderful way of depiction. How elegantly they were looking. It's not, see, when you see this sculpture, you can imagine how, what was the power of the Cholas. How wonderfully they were there. How refined they were there. People of that era were so refined. Everything was available to them. You can read understand more of things. Sculpture is not to see and enjoy, but you can understand a lot more in just looking into this. And this temple is noted for its miniature sculptures. The first miniature sculptures were introduced here. Now you see, this is the place where the sculpture is there. This is the miniature on either side. This miniature is only that size, 4.5 to 5 inches by 5 inches or 6 inches. That's the size of the miniature. Here in Coimbatore, this temple, the entire Ramayana series, starting from the Putrakameshti Yagam to the Pattabhishekam, is sculpted into these miniatures. When was it sculpted? 1300 years ago. Ramayana, was it known to people in Tamil country? Kambar came 500 years later to write Kambar Ramayana. What was the Ramayana which was available? Valmiki Ramayana. And what language it was there? Sanskrit. In spite of that, the bilingual aspects were there, people understood, appreciated everything there. Such wonderful depiction of Ramayana is there. Wonderful depictions of Ramayana is there. Look at that. The Putrakameshti Yagam. How many characters, what sort of feelings, emotions, everything is being depicted here. The yaga has been done. When the yaga is done, the bhuta has come out carrying the payasam. Now, Dasaratha and his queen step forward to receive the payasam. Who conducts this Putrakameshti Yagam? It is conducted by Rishisingha Maharishi, whom of a deer, to show that they have shown him as a deer-faced person, Rishisingha Maharishi. And look at that. Who organized this particular Putrakameshti Yagam to be done? Vasishta. And who is the person supported it and all? Is Sumantra, the minister. So, the entire story is very clearly said. The Putrakameshti Yagam is done, the payasam has come, the Rishisingha Maharishi is conducting it, Dasaratha is receiving. Vasishta says, I am happy, I have accomplished what I have to do. Thereby, Rama is going to be born. And who's happy looking at that is Sumantra. Such a beautiful narration, so many things hidden there, is just brought into a small sculpture of 4.5 inches by 6 inches. What an amazing task that they have done. Look at the second sculpture here. This is the Tataka Vadam. Tataka Samharam has been done. Vishwamitra says, Rama is feeling bad that he has killed a woman, a lady. He says, don't worry. She is a Rakshasi. It's worth that she's been killed. And look at the way she's lying down there. To show that she is a Rakshasi, such a huge representation of Dharka has been given. Now come to this. This is an animation sculpture, I would say. Now what are these two people aiming at one deer? Rama shot that deer, golden deer. Why two people are there? Any question comes up, look at that, that's Rama. He is aiming at the deer, the first Rama. Imagine the second, don't imagine the second Rama. The first Rama is seeing the deer, looking at it, aiming it. So he leaps forward. He leaps forward and shoots, and that deer falls down and Maricha is dead. What a beautiful animation has been brought in here. How wonderfully that whole thing has been conveyed here in this sculpture. It's amazing to note that such wonderful narrations can be just brought out visually and taken across to everybody. People fail to understand this. We don't even see, unfortunately, these sculptures are right at the lowest level. Your eyes will never go there. You cannot bend yourself to see that. Any common man will not bend unless he is so artistically inclined. You fail to see this. And look at this. Again an animated sculpture. Sita is being taken by Ravana. So when he is going there, Jatayu comes and attacks. This is the attack between Jatayu and Ravana. What is Jatayu? It's a bird. How will the bird attack? From the top it will fly and come on, peck on that. So when he comes from all sides and will come back, a person cannot sit here and do that fight. So he has to swing and turn like that and kill that bird. That swinging action of Ravana is wonderfully shown here. And the bird is beginning from the top. How artistically they have done that. The Ramayana sculpture. Now we come to the next temple, which is called as the Pullamangai. Tiruppullamangai. He is known as Alandurai. Tiru Alandurai. This temple is known as Alandurai. And the god here is Alandurai Mahadeva. And today he is known as Brahmapurishwarar. Again, this is a Padapetta Sthalam of Tirunjana Sambandha, which has been converted into a stone structure by Aditya 1300 years ago. What an amazing temple! This temple, first, if I am responsible in any way, I would declare this is a monument which is much greater than your big temple, Rajarajan's temple or anything, and take it to great heights. Unfortunately, this temple is not being recognized and deserted today. Such is the greatness of this particular temple. See that this temple is known for its cultural beauty to the par excellence. Be it the Vimana, the sculptures on the Vimana, the sculptures on the coasters, on the walls, or the miniatures, whatever you call it, everywhere it is something par excellence. I will tell you, this temple is studded with so many things, and it's mind-boggling to know that they could build such a beautiful temple edifice for 1,300 years ago. Look at that Vimana. Every nook and corner you find the sculpture, so beautifully decked up, completely made of granite. And all these temples are known as structural temples. In Tamil we call it as Kattumana Koilgal. Kattumanam means this is not plastered and placed. This is just by placing one stone by above the other. Any day you can dismantle it and rebuild. Because of that nature only, without plastering, it has withstood so many seismic disasters. Still, it's functioning. So these are known the Kattumana Koilgal. And that one beautiful Ganesha that you see on that place is amazing Ganesha. This panel, if you see, it's so wonderful. The Ganesha is pot-bellied and beautifully seated there. You have the Ganas on either side. Ganesha is represented the Ganas on either side. You have those Ganesha or the Ganas playing different things. And here he is opening up a jackfruit and waiting to be offered to Ganesha. The other man is selling by the side, cut it properly. And the other two Ganas are having something like Modaka and Laddu and waiting to offer it to Ganesha. There above that, you have again these Ganas, the playful mood, offering this Modakas and Laddus, and one fellow has got this flies and trying to see that all the flies are away. There at the top, this man is playing something like a string instrument to please Ganesha. This side, you have the chauffeur, like a car driver, waiting ready with the Pushikavaka. Anytime the master can come out, let's go. So that fellow is readily waiting with that. What animations they have brought into these sculptures. How wonderfully they have depicted this. Look at this. This is the rear Koshta figures of Annamalaya or the Lingotbhava Murthy, flanked by Brahma. What beautiful depiction of Brahma, what a beautiful depiction of Vishnu. See that wonderful way in which these sculptures, unfortunately, the Shiva's face is totally destroyed. One thing that you notice in this sculptures, this belongs to a particular time where Vishnu will be having this chakra and Shankha in his hand, but they will not touch its fingers. They will be above the fingers. You see that? They are not seen touching the fingers, but they are above. This particular depiction is there in few temples of Aditya time alone. So this was later refined, and the Shankha and the chakra were brought into their hands. So before that, they were all separate. And that's the third northern coaster with the Brahma. And look at the Brahma image. See, normally Western philosophy, Western drawing, or what Western art, we call it is always said anatomy-wise. 8 times the size of your face is your whole structure. We say it is 9 times in Hindus, and at times 10 times. And we call that as Uttama Dasatara. So here if you see that, this Brahma's structure is almost 10 times his face. But does it look ugly? Imagine a person, head is so small and the body is so thick, so tall. You can't imagine such one. He look very ugly. But look at this. Dasa Uttama Dasatara we call it. And how beautifully it's been depicted without any sort of distortion into that. And that's Brahma. And this is the masterpiece of this wonderful Pulamangai. This is the Devi, Durga Devi. Look at that elegant way in which she is standing there. That was Durga. Kottravai they call it in Tamil. And the Cholas had great reverence for the Kottravai. And they used to pray to this goddess Durga whenever they take off for a battle or win over a battle and come and they give the offerings here. So that's the beautiful, look at the Tribhanga in which she stands. Ashta with the Durga, with the 8 arms, she's holding different weapons and standing elegantly on the slot at the head of the Mahesha. What a beautiful depiction. You cannot see such a beautiful Durga in any of the temples. It's an amazing depiction of Durga. On either side you have these people. We see this man cutting his throat, head and offering. That's called, in Tamil they call it as Navakantam. Whenever the king goes for a war, one man comes there, offers sacrifice himself to the goddess. His hair will be tied to a pole which is there down below that side. This fellow takes his sword, keeps it in his neck, and he pulls out. As he pulls out, the entire head goes and falls into the Durga's legs, offered. So that's called Navakanta. Some people cut the flesh from the body and offer it. That's also there. So these two are great practices of Tamil country which was followed there. Has been shown in this wonderful Pulamangai. And we all know Durga is a Simhavahini. Everybody in the world knows. But she also writes a beautiful deer. You know that? Vedas talk about Hiranmaye. Hiran means it's the deer. So deer is also a Vahana of Durga, which is very clearly seen here in this particular image. Now look at this. Kostas and Kudus with all these royal ladies and everybody are presented here. Wonderfully they presented here. Look at the bracket figures. And the sculptures which is there on the Vimana. You have Tripurantaka, Dikshadana, again Ardhanarishwara. All these sculptures are wonderfully depicted on the Vimana of this temple. And very interesting sculptures are there seen on Vimana. You see Mahavishnu, and there on top of it you have Narasimha. Look at this image of Narasimha. Normally Narasimha's images are seen slaying Hiranyakashipu. Here, Narasimha after killing that Prahalada is a small boy. He comes with very great reverence to Narasimha. Narasimha is so pleased with Prahalada, he hugs him and takes him there in a very fatherly manner. This one sculpture is something very, very beautiful and it's not seen in many of the temples. Look at the way in which Narasimha is taking Prahalada by his side, and the laugh, the smile and the roar that he gives also is very beautifully depicted in this sculpture. Now we come to the miniatures. This present day temple of this Pullamangai is almost about 8 feet below the present ground level. You will have to go into a pit to see this temple. Enjoy the beautiful sculptures. Now, this pit has got no drain. So in monsoons, the pit is full of water. It breeds a lot of insects. It breeds so many other things also. And it's quite an unfortunate thing that has the water logging into this pit has destroyed a lot of sculptures also. The sculptures, miniatures are par excellence. That's the size of the miniature. You can see my finger pointing at it. That's the size of the miniature, which is 4.5 by 6 inches. That's all. This size. Look at that miniature. Shiva and Parvati together. Shiva doing the dance. Chaturataandavam of Shiva, Shiva and Parvati. Look at this again, Uddhva a different karana of Shiva. Shiva blessing Chandesha. What a beautiful depiction of Shiva blessing Chandesha. And this is a masterpiece there. Gajasamhara Murti. Shiva goes inside the body of an elephant, tears its skin and emerges it out. Now as he goes there and tears the skin and comes out, victoriously, the blood from the body of the elephant oozes out. So you can imagine the entire blood from the elephant's body, how many liters of it should be? It will just oozing out. Parvati is scared there. She's running away. She's got the baby's kanda in the hand. She's running away from there. That baby is even more frightened, screams, and there's a maid who comes and takes the baby. What depiction is there? And not only that, look at that Bhutagana here. He is so amazed. Now what happens when you are so amazed? You say, we say no. That way he is hitting his mouth and shouting. What a great feature this Shiva has done. What sort of wonderful aspects that are being inbuilt into this structure. Now we come to the next portion of Ramayana series. Here Dasaratha is seated, his queens are there. Their babies are there, Balama, Krishna. So one baby is offered, Rama, he is playing with Rama. The other babies are there waiting to be taken. One minute, I just have to sorry. Now, this is where Dasaratha and his wife are seated there. Vishwamitra is coming, asking for Rama. How beautifully it's been depicted here. That one, and here. In a masterpiece. This man who sculpted it must have got something different brains. How beautifully he has given. When Rama went with Vishwamitra, he was a lad of 13 years old boy. Vishwamitra took him. He teaches him Shastra Vidya. Vishwamitra was an old man, 6 feet plus tall. Okay, Rama was such a small boy. Now Vishwamitra, when he wants to teach him, he has to come to the level of Rama and do it. How beautifully he is bending. Look at the way he is teaching him to stretch the leg and give the force for the arrow to thrust upon. As only when you stretch yourself to that extent, the arrow goes. How wonderfully he has devised this. Wonderful sculpture. Amazing. These sculptures are, throughout the world you search, you will not get such things. Look at this. Again, another masterpiece. Rama, Lakshmana, Vishwamitra are walking. Tanaka is attacking from behind. Vishwamitra says immediately she is attacking. That moment, Rama from where he is, he turns like this and shoots the arrow. That same position, as he is walking, he turns himself like that and shoots the arrow. What an animation has been brought into this sculpture. And this is again a marvelous sculpture of that size. 14 characters. Bharata coming to Chitrakoot asking Rama to come back to Ayodhya. Look at that entire Bharata's carriage. The elephants, the horses, men, everybody coming there. Such wonderful thing. Again, you have a lot of sculptures of Kali, Narasimha killing the Rakshasa. And this is again a beautiful sculpture of Vali. Vali is being killed. And all the monkeys are grieving over the death of Vali. Vali is lying in the dying in the bed of death. His wife Tara is there. Look at the monkeys. Look at their actions, how they are expressing their grief. One fellow is hitting his head and crying. One fellow is crying like this, holding this. Other fellow is sad, sitting like that. And above all, this fellow is crying with loud open mouth. You can see the loud open mouth of that. Oh, he says and cries. All these expressions in such a small miniature of this size. Can you imagine our people have done that? Did they have dreams or what? You have to think about it. And that's the sculpture of the dancers. So with Pullamangai, we go from there to the 10th century, 9th century temple of the Coimbatore, Moor Koil. Am I late, sir? I'll go fast. Am I late? I think. I'll go fast, okay? Moor Koil is again in Coimbatore and Pudukkottai. It's called Moor Koil, only 2 of them are remaining now. The rest of the temples are gone. Look at that beautiful Adhishtanam of this temple. It's called Vritta Kumbhada Adhishtanam. It's a very beautiful Adhishtanam. And this temple, as such, if you see a single temple, this is the right model for a temple of the Dravidian architecture. Very clear Dravidian architecture. Again, with the shikara, which is in square shape, tapering up. Again, look at that. The entire temple is studded with sculptures. All over the temple is done with sculptures. Sculptures of high quality, and every place, the griva. Now just see this. This is what we call as the sala element. The center portion, which is wide, it's called the sala. And the 2 other supporting portions are called as the kutas. The sala kuta. One sala will always have 2 kutas. So normally every temple will have, one sala will have 2 kutas or 4 kutas or something like that. It keeps going. And in between that they can also bring the kodas. And that's the beautiful way in which we depicted. And look at the bull there. The bull, which is very natural, very beautiful, majestic 2 bulls on either side. They are simple, without any decorations. How beautifully it looks. And look at all these sculptures on the grivas. Amazing sculptures on the grivas, and the apsaras are there everywhere. You find such lovely sculptures there. And this temple is a west-facing temple which is opening up. and you have two Dwarapalas, and then the temple has got some wonderful sculptures on the koshtas. Koshtas in the niches of the outer wall. That's what you see here. You find the Ardhanarishwara Shiva. What a beautiful Ardhanarishwara Shiva. Gangadhara. What beautiful Gangadhara. Gangadhara is Shiva taking Ganga into his matted locks. This Gangadhara. Look at that wonderful sculpture of Cholas. Gangadhara. Look, very close up of that, how he ties the thing. There are two depictions of Shiva you can see. One is Gangadhara and one is Ganga Visarjana. Now I will tell you the difference between those two things. So, this is wonderful Gangadhara Shiva. And this is again in Vinadhara. And the top previous portions you have wonderful sculptures. Now this is Harihara. Shiva and Vishnu in one. Harihara form of Shiva. And many of the sculptures are very much weather-borne and totally destroyed because of the weather and some sort of vandalisms and things like that. Unfortunately, whatever is surviving, some of the best are still surviving. Here is Shiva Alingana Murthy. Shiva is hugging to Parvati. And this is the Chatura Tandava Murthy. And this is what you see. It's Ganga Visarjana. You see Parvati turning her face that side, Shiva doing something you are not able to see in this frame. Now, you see in this frame, he is releasing the Ganga out of his head. He takes the Ganga out of his head and throws out, so Parvati and tries to please. So Parvati is very, very much against Shiva for having another lady on his head. So, there is a friction. The friction is released by the release of Ganga. So that's Ganga Visarjanamurti. Look at this again. A very unique sculpture. A lot of people give a lot of theoretical information about this. We still do not know, and it's a mystery to find out what this sculpture is. Shiva is seated. There's a bull. He's reclining on the bull. Shiva normally carries a deer, antelope, and a damarkam, everything almost. What is this? He's carrying a linga on his shoulders. Have you ever seen Shiva carrying a linga on his shoulders? It's something very amazing, very unusual sculpture. There are 3 places this sculpture is available. In Tamil Nadu, in some of the temples. And a lot of people give a lot of their own theoretical analysis about it. Some of these sculptures are very much prevalent in Madhya Pradesh also. But we do not know exactly what does it convey. Shiva holding a Shivalinga on his shoulder. Something very unusual of this. And this is again Subramanya Swami, and some say it is Indra, whatever it is, it's fine. And look at that, Gasmaharamurti, Parvati is scared. I told you in that small sculpture, here also shown the expressions. This is Tripura Samharamurti. Again, look at this, an action plan one. Shiva is going on the chariot, the 3 asuras who are orbiting around in the space come in a line. That split second, he sees that, immediately he turns and takes out the arrow from his quill to shoot. Look at that beautiful action. Look at his eyes. The expression immediately changes. Eyes are bulging out, ready to shoot. What sort of an action-packed sculpture it is. And this is the masterpiece of Gurumurthy, which is Kalasamharamurti. The Shiva kicks Yama. Yama was kicked by his left foot. But here, I don't know what for, purposely they made it as a right foot. But amazing sculpture. It has got 84 bankas. If you say one bend in the body somewhere, it's called a banga. Tribanga, you can see Parvati standing in Tribanga, the face, the head and the leg turn in action. But this particular sculpture has got 84 bangas. That's what the Silpa Shastra says. We are unable to read it. But you can see that everything is in different angles. But still it constitutes a beautiful picture on the whole. The face is tilted one, the body is tilted the other side. Look at that, hands going up in different directions, but still balancing. The body is twisted, the legs are again twisted in common way, bringing a Chaturataণ্ডava, everything. Something amazing. Look at that face. He is kicking Yama. The Raudram is there in the eyes, but there is a smile in his face also. How can you bring a Raudram and the smile in one? The eyes are bulging out. I'll kill you. But he's also smiling. If anybody wants to kill with his smile, the anger should be there. So, to say that he is God, we can have only one action, not double action. Only God can have. How beautifully it is brought. But see that smile and that anger in the face, twisted eyebrows, bulging eyes, everything. Does it look crude? Now you try to destroy your anger in your eyes, the anger and smile. You will be the ugliest person on the world. See, that's the beauty of our sculptures. Look at that, how he is kicking Yama. Look at that, like Chaturataণ্ডava pose, here he comes. Look at that beautiful way in which he is kicking with elegance, giving a Suchimudra. You did the mistake, so you are going to get it, pay for it. And look at that Yama suffering. Opening your mouth, saying, what did I do? I did my duty. That's. Now we come to the next temple of Melakadambur. This is known as Karakoil. This temple is built by Kulothunga Chola in 11th century. 1113 to be precise. 1113 to be precise. This is a marvelous temple of the literature architecture. Totally built of granite. It is in a place called Melakadambur, about 40 kilometers from Chidambaram. The temple is built in the form of a chariot. This is the Amritakateshwara Swami temple. The temple is built in the form of a chariot. I believe there is a story that goes, Indra's mother used to come and daily worship in this temple. As she became old, she could not come here. So she wanted this temple to come to Indraloka. So Indra tried pulling the temple. I believe the temple chariot did not move, it got stuck inside. That's also shown there. This temple, which is in the form of a chariot, shown by two horses which are pulling it. You see the horses here? On either side you have the horses. Two horses pulling this wonderful chariot. It's a sculptural beauty. Look at that horse. How beautiful is this horse? And look at the pain it is carrying, you know. It reflects the pain that it's of what you call pulling the chariot. It's shown in the face of the horse. Here also. And I said, no, when Indra pulled out, one wheel got stuck. That they have made it wonderful here. That one wheel which got stuck there. Look at the sculptures. Amazing sculptures. Athararishwara, the flag of Ganesha and Agastya. What beautiful sculptures. I don't have time to explain these sculptures in detail. Such wonderful sculptures you are. It's for you to imagine, and I mean, you look at this and see, conclude how beautiful they are. Right above that, you have a miniature of Shiva, Mr. Brantikar, Parvati, Manada. Look at that beautiful Ardhanarishwara as a sculpture. It's more like a bronze statue. The granite statue looks like bronze. Such wonderful finish has been given to it. Look at that. This is the Dakshinamurti.
What an amazing Dakshinamurti. Again, look at that Dakshinamurti on the Vimana. Such wonderful Veena Dakshinamurti. He's seated on the Veena. He's seated on the Vimana, will take the Veena. Again, a different type of Dakshinamurti. And that Dakshinamurti is flanked by one side by Indra and other side by Roma Maharishi. It's called Roma Maharishi. And all these things are there inscribed there. And the real portion of it, you have Vishnu flanked by Surya and Chandra. And the Vishnu on the top is Vaikunthanatha. And on the north side you have Brahma. Look at that Brahma, he is seated there. On the top also you have the Brahma representations in the Gurus. And this side he is being worshipped by Patanjali. What did Patanjali want? He wanted to have the darshan of Nataraja. So, Patanjali prays to Brahma to see that Shiva gives him the darshan of Nataraja. That Nataraja is there in his mind, which is in his thought, shown here on top. How beautifully they have expressed it. How beautifully they have expressed it. At this side you have Yagapatma Rishi, and this is again Ganga Visarjana Murti. Parvati is turning her face, Shiva is pleasing her, please don't do, my dear, I will let her out. So, with Kartika, it's let out. Look at the way the Gangadhara Murti, Ganga Visarjana Murti is there. Again, he is pleasing. Masakita Murti, the Durga, what a Durga she is. Look at that buffalo head, so huge. In contrast to the Durga's size. How wonderfully these sculptures are made by the 11th century. Look at the bracket figures of dancers. Everywhere it was music and dance in temples. That's what you see here, the bracket figures. There also certain things were introduced. This is a drunkard man who's got 2 concubines and they are pulling him and coming here or taking him back home, something like that. Look at that. How that is also beautifully depicted. And this is a hunter. His face and the back are in one line. It can never be less. So that shows how swift the hunter moves. He spots something, immediately he turns. So he doesn't wait for the entire body to turn. He just turns the half portion of his body. Very clearly. That's what has been depicted here. Swiftly he moves. Look at the dancers. Playing drums and other things and dancing all over. The pilasters on each side have got something phenomenally beautiful architecture. Very, very small, intricate architecture. Look at the dances, the florals, the floral designs, everything. Nataraja. You have Parvati on one side, and the Banasura playing the Vadya, what you call as Gurumurthy on the other side. And finally we come to another temple called Tirubhuvanam. This is the last of the Cholas now. This temple is built near Kumbakonam, Tirubhuvanam. Kulothunga III built this temple after his victory over the Pandyas. He built it a very beautiful temple on a scaled down version of the Dharmeshwara temple at Kumbakonam. A very beautiful temple with lot of sculptural value and depictions of different gods and goddesses, everything is there. The Adhisthana of this temple, which is so beautifully done with 2 Yalivaris, and down below the panel depicts completely the war scenes all over. Amazing war scenes which is happening there. And you have so many other places in the war scenes which depict small panels. See this? The elephant, a person riding on the elephant, a man, that's elephant is what do you call it? The mouth or the person who rides that elephant, he's dead. He's fallen dead in this battlefield. This elephant doesn't want to leave him, she carries him back. And that's what is seen here. Again, these sort of depictions. Look at this, again this elephant and the yali fighting, and this is a masterpiece of this. It's called Gajab Prasad. Elephant delivery. Today we all are open to the wildlife channels. We are able to see. 800 years back, how did they know an elephant delivers? Nobody knew. This man has seen that depicted in this cultural form. Look at this. This elephant is delivering. Two other aunt elephants are assisting the delivery. One by lifting its tail, other one gently pressing the stomach to get it out. And look at that, how wonderfully the elephant delivery is being done. And this is again a very unusual sculpture. When you see that, you'll think, what is this? A lady sitting there and two elephant cubs are breastfeeding. How can an elephant be breastfed by a lady? It's very simple. Our people are not fools. In Tamil they say, Thai pal yanai pal. So, the breast, when you feed the breast milk, it gives you the strength of an elephant. Just to depict that wonderful sculpture. What beautiful, simple way of telling that. Cholas were the wisest builders of temples. They have built over 25,000 temples in this Tamil country in the span of 450 years under their rule. Big or small, they are left behind the mastery in the architecture and execution of the great Dravidian style of architecture. There's much more to know about their contributions to the great heritage institution. What we saw as a lesser known Chola temple is only the tip of the iceberg or the sample. Thank you very much for being with me for this.